Ever felt like your body's acting different? Like it's quietly hinting at something big, but you're not sure what? It sounds a little strange, doesn't it? Yet for so many older folks, their bodies start sending subtle signals, soft whispers long before the truth becomes clear. These aren't dramatic, in-your-face warnings. They're usually gentle, gradual changes, the kind that are easy to shrug off as just part of aging. But brushing them aside? That could be a big mistake. In this video, we're going to explore 5 warning signs that show up in about 99% of people in the year before they pass. These aren't just facts pulled from a textbook. They're patterns noticed by caregivers, hospice workers, doctors, and loved ones who've been watching closely. Each sign might not mean something definite, but catching them early can give you a chance to act, to find peace, or even to shift your path if possible. You might notice 1 or 2 of these signs in someone you care about deeply. Or, maybe you're spotting them in yourself. Either way, being aware gives you strength. The strength to respond, to prepare, and to live your remaining time with clarity and purpose. Stay with us until the end. You might pick up on a pattern you hadn't seen before. And more importantly, you'll understand what it really means and how to face it with wisdom instead of fear. Let's get started. Imagine it's a balmy June afternoon, the kind where kids are running through sprinklers, but your grandpa is wrapped in a wool blanket, shivering like it's a snowstorm. Or maybe your mom winces when you give her a gentle hug, muttering that your sweater feels like sandpaper. Sounds like they're just being fussy, right? Nope. This heightened sensitivity to temperature and touch is one of the sneakiest signs that the body's starting to shift gears, often showing up in the final year of life. It's not just about feeling chilly when everyone else is sweating. It's like the world's sensations get dialed up to 11. A soft breeze that used to feel refreshing now cuts like a knife. A favorite flannel pajama set suddenly feels scratchy, like it's out to get them. Even a splash of lukewarm water in the shower can feel overwhelming, too hot, too cold, or just too much. You might notice them flinching at small things. A light pat on the back, the texture of a couch, or even the air conditioning humming on. At first, you might think they're just having a bad day, right? But there's a deeper story unfolding. As the body ages, its systems start to slow down. Blood doesn't flow to the hands and feet as smoothly, leaving fingers and toes feeling like they're stuck in a deep freeze. The skin thins out, losing its protective layer of fat, so every touch feels sharper, more raw. The body's internal thermostat, once a well-oiled machine, starts to sputter. What used to feel cozy now feels like an assault. And it's not just physical. This sensitivity often comes with an emotional shift. As energy fades, the world can feel too loud, too bright, too much. A lively family barbecue might suddenly feel like sensory overload, and they'll crave quiet dim lights, soft music, fewer people. Take Evelyn, a 78-year-old retired florist from Vermont. She used to spend hours arranging bouquets in her sunny shop, loving the feel of petals against her fingers. But her daughter, Lily, noticed a change. Evelyn started avoiding the outdoors, even on mild spring days. "The breeze stings my skin," she'd say, pulling on a heavy cardigan. At night, she'd toss and turn, complaining that her soft cotton sheets felt like they're scraping me raw. Lily thought her mom was just getting picky until a doctor's visit revealed early signs of heart failure. Evelyn's body was slowing down, and those sensitivities were its way of waving a quiet warning flag. If you see this in someone you love, don't brush it off as a quirk. Small tweaks can make a huge difference. Swap out scratchy blankets for buttery soft ones. Think cotton or fleece, nothing too heavy. Keep their room at a steady, warm temperature, and ask what feels comfortable. If they shy away from a hug, try a gentler touch, like resting your hand on theirs. These little acts of care can bring so much relief when every sensation feels amplified. And if you're noticing this in yourself, don't feel silly. It's your body asking for a little extra kindness. This is just the first whisper, and it's a big one. The next sign? It's even more telling, and you might already be seeing it. Drop a 1 in the comments to let me know you're with me, and let's dive into the next clue. We've all had those days where we're just dragging, maybe after a late night or a crazy work week. A good nap or a solid night's sleep usually fixes it. But what if the exhaustion sticks around, no matter how much you rest? What if getting out of bed feels like climbing a mountain, or even making a sandwich feels like running a marathon? That's not just being tired, that's the body sending a serious signal. This kind of fatigue is different. It's not the kind you shake off with a double espresso or a quick power nap. It's a heavy, bone-deep weariness that settles in and refuses to budge, like carrying a backpack full of bricks. For many older adults, this unrelenting exhaustion is one of the clearest signs that their body is starting to wind down. You might catch them dozing off in their armchair mid-afternoon, only to wake up feeling just as wiped out or worse. Simple tasks, like buttoning a shirt or walking to the mailbox, become daunting. They might start skipping things they used to love, playing cards, tending to their garden, or even just chatting over coffee. It's not that they don't care anymore, it's that their body can't keep up. This isn't about a rough day or a bad mattress. Deep down, it's often tied to physical changes. As we age, things like chronic inflammation or low oxygen levels in the blood become more common. The heart and lungs have to work harder, and the body starts conserving energy, like it's preparing for a long winter's rest. It's not just feeling sleepy, it's feeling like the world is moving too fast, and they're stuck in slow motion. Mentally, they might seem foggy, less engaged, or just distant, like their spark is flickering. Let me tell you about Henry, a 76-year-old retired mechanic from Ohio. He was the guy who'd fix everyone's car in the neighborhood, always tinkering in his garage with a grin. But his son, Mike, noticed a shift. Henry started skipping their weekly fishing trips, saying, "I'm just too wiped out." Even after sleeping 10 hours, he'd shuffle to the couch, exhausted. Walking to the corner store left him gasping, and he stopped working on cars altogether. Mike thought his dad was just slowing down with age until a checkup showed his heart was struggling. That bone-deep fatigue was Henry's body whispering that it was running low on steam. If you're seeing this in someone you care about, don't dismiss it as just getting old. It's a sign worth noticing. Gently encourage a doctor's visit. It could catch something early. Offer to help with small tasks, like running errands or folding laundry. Not as a chore, but as a way to show you're there. If they're too tired for their favorite hobbies, sit with them. Maybe watch an old movie together, something low-key that says, "I'm here." No pressure. And if you're feeling this kind of exhaustion yourself, know it's not about being lazy. It's your body asking for a little extra care. Maybe a signal to slow down and listen. This sign is a big deal, but the next one's even more subtle, and you might hear it before you see it. Drop a 2 in the comments to let me know you're still here. And let's keep going. Ever notice someone's voice change? Maybe it's quieter, shakier, like they're struggling to get the words out. Or they pause longer between sentences, as if talking takes more effort than it used to. It's easy to brush it off as a sore throat or just aging, but when someone's voice starts to fade, it could be a quiet clue that their body is entering a new phase. For many older adults, especially in their final year, the way they speak shifts in subtle but meaningful ways. Their voice might sound fragile, like it's lost its old spark. They might trail off mid-sentence, repeat themselves, or even stop talking altogether. It's not always about memory or confusion sometimes. It's purely physical. The muscles in the throat, mouth, and diaphragm get tired, just like the rest of the body. Speaking clearly takes energy, and when energy's running low, talking can feel like a mountain too steep to climb. These changes don't hit all at once. They sneak in slowly, like a radio signal fading out. You might notice they don't greet you with the same hearty "good morning" they used to. Their words come out softer, almost whispered, or they pause longer, like they're catching their breath between thoughts. Some might repeat stories, not because they're forgetting, but because forming new sentences feels like wading through fog. In quieter moments, especially at night when energy dips, their voice might even sound a bit slurred, like the words are too heavy to shape. Let me tell you about Margaret, an 80-year-old retired schoolteacher from Toronto. She was known for her warm, commanding voice. Reading bedtime stories to her grandkids was her superpower. But her daughter, Sophie, started noticing changes. Margaret stopped joining in at family dinners, and when she did speak, her voice was barely above a whisper. "My throat's just dry," she'd say, waving it off. Over time, she spoke less and less, sticking to short answers or just nodding. Sophie thought it was just age until a doctor found signs of advanced lung disease. Margaret's fading voice was one of the first hints her body was slowing down, saving energy for the essentials. This isn't just about losing volume. It's the body prioritizing what little energy it has, leaving less for things like conversation. If you notice this in someone you love, don't push them to speak up or snap out of it. Instead, create space for quiet connection. Sit close, listen patiently, and let them share at their own pace. A gentle question or a warm smile can make them feel heard without the strain. If they're struggling to talk, try writing notes or just sitting together in comfortable silence. It's about being there, not forcing words. This sign is subtle, but it's powerful. The next one? It's something you might notice in the stillness of the night. Drop a 3 in the comments to let me know you're still with me, and let's move on. Breathing is one of those things we don't think about until it starts to change. When someone's breathing becomes shallow, uneven, or labored, it's like the body's whispering a secret you can't ignore. For many older adults, this shift in breathing is a clear sign that their body is moving into a quieter, slower phase. At first, these changes are so subtle you might miss them. Maybe you hear a faint wheeze when they're resting, or they sigh more often, like they're trying to catch their breath. Some might pause between breaths, or their breathing might seem irregular, especially at night. It's not always an emergency, but it's a clue worth listening to. If you know what to look for, it can tell you more than words ever could. As we age, the lungs lose their springiness, and the muscles that help us breathe weaken. If the heart's struggling, it can't deliver oxygen as efficiently, leading to small tweaks in how someone breathes. You might notice them breathing more shallowly, or they might seem winded after doing something simple like walking across the room. In some cases, especially in the final year, you might hear a pattern called Cheyne-Stokes breathing where breaths speed up, then slow down, then pause briefly before starting again. It's unsettling to hear, but for the person experiencing it, it's often not painful, just their body's way of adjusting to less energy. Take Robert, a 79-year-old retired carpenter from Bristol. He loved late-night chats with his wife Joan, swapping stories over tea. But Joan started noticing his breathing sounded heavy, even when he was just sitting. "I'm just catching my breath," he'd laugh, brushing it off. Over time, he avoided long conversations, saying he was too tired to talk. Joan thought it was just age until a checkup revealed early signs of lung disease. Robert's breathing changes were his body's way of signaling it was slowing down, preparing for a gentler rhythm. Not every breathing change is serious. Sometimes it's asthma or a medication side effect. But when it's gradual, persistent, and unexplained, it's worth a closer look. Listen to the rhythm, the depth, the ease, or struggle. If you notice this in someone you love, don't panic, but don't ignore it either. Encourage a doctor's visit to rule out treatable causes. In the meantime, keep their space calm. Maybe open a window for fresh air, or help them sit up comfortably. If they're feeling anxious, just sit with them. Maybe hold their hand. It's not about fixing everything, it's about showing you're there. This sign is a quiet one, but it speaks volumes. The next one might hit even closer to homemates, something you'll see in their daily habits. Drop a 4 in the comments to let me know you're still here, and let's keep going. Picture someone who always took pride in their appearance: hair neatly combed, clothes pressed, morning coffee brewed just right. Now imagine them skipping showers, wearing the same sweater for days, or leaving dishes piled up in the sink. It's not laziness, it's a quiet shift that often shows up in the final year of life. This growing indifference to daily routines isn't about giving up. It's about energy or the lack of it. Simple tasks like brushing teeth, changing clothes, or cooking dinner start to feel like climbing Everest. For many older adults, this change creeps in slowly. You might notice a missed shower here, a skipped meal there. Over time, the spark that kept them engaged with the world, tidying the house, tending to hobbies, keeping up appearances, starts to flicker. It's not that they don't care. It's that their body and mind are shifting focus inward. This isn't about depression, though it can look similar. Depression often comes with sadness or guilt, but this is more like a gentle letting go. The urgency of routines fades, and they might spend more time lost in thought, reminiscing, or just resting. The world's hustle feels less important, and they start prioritizing quiet moments over daily chores. Physically, it's tied to the body. Slowing down fatigue becomes a constant companion, and tasks that used to be second nature now feel like a burden. Let me tell you about Alice, an 82-year-old from Savannah who loved her garden. Her roses were her pride and joy, and she'd spend hours pruning them, humming old jazz tunes. But her son, David, noticed a change. Alice stopped gardening, letting weeds take over. She'd wear the same cardigan for days, and her kitchen, once spotless, started gathering dust. "I'm fine, just not in the mood," she'd say with a tired smile. David thought she was just slowing down until a diagnosis revealed a terminal illness. Alice's body was already preparing for a quieter season, and letting go of routines was its way of signaling that shift. If you see this in someone you love, don't rush to fix them. Instead, offer gentle support. Help with a task, like washing dishes, not as a chore but as a way to spend time together. Share a simple meal, not to force routine, but to create a moment of connection. If they're pulling back from daily habits, sit with them, listen to their stories, or just be there in silence. It's not about hygiene or chores anymore, it's about honoring who they are now, not who they used to be. And if you're feeling this way yourself, know it's not about failure. It's a new chapter that calls for rest, reflection, and a different kind of care. This sign is a turning point, and it's one you won't want to miss. Drop a 5 in the comments to let me know you're still with me, and let's wrap this up. If any of this struck a chord, you're not alone. These SIG sensitivity, fatigue, a fading voice, shifting breaths, letting go of routines aren't just quirks of aging. They're the body's gentle way of saying, things are changing. They're calls for attention, care, and presence. For some, they're a nudge to seek medical advice. For others, they're an invitation to reflect, prepare, and focus on what matters most. Noticing these signs isn't about giving up. It's about embracing life as it is, with grace and courage. Whether it's you or someone you love, awareness is a gift. It opens the door to deeper conversations, wiser choices, and peaceful transitions. You don't need all the answers, or to fix everything. Sometimes, just being there, just noticing, is enough. Thanks for watching today. I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share what you learned or how you'll use this. Your thoughts inspire us to keep going. If you found this helpful, give it a like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, take care.